new vision movement.
Sir.
You can say new vision movements. That means not just but I na say bibi could be a day ni so a pese a danity emma a month for eti. First of all, you need come for generally the states of the country. We are now about the bid to lead the country as a leader and as a president of this country. First of all, if you are to assess the performance of this government, I say generally, what would be your take on the state of the economy and government in general?
Yo, Michia New Vision Movement in Penny Funa because once why a crowd or wash.
That's right.
Now, Kwame, yada say, what question? Yeah, very simple question. Simple question is all you need to do is what they Koranteng na Koranteng. It tells you, it gives you a cross section of the state of Ghana. The leadership for the last 32 years has failed. Totally failed. No question. And you cannot even question that statement.
That means the entire Fourth Republic leadership
failed. Totally failed. Obia obeke say any failed, you know. They're not paying attention. What I say? Because Kwame netine say wo niema bi say oman bia epese edi no niema indexes bi wo ho no matrices bi wo ho wo wo hwe na odi tumi hu say oman yi edi wo si fi airport bape wo say nkrofo de da firm wo nkrofo bag wonam kroma hu containers bebia containers traffic lights in Yejuma. America on a very simple level.
Sure.
What I say, traffic lights in Yejuma, street lights non-existent.
These are petty things. It should have been solved.
It makes you wonder about phone and krum bebre. It gives you say, it makes you question say inti obi wo ho a odo Ghana nkrofo bi wo ho a wodo Ghana wotena se na se na me no kase wodwene Ghana ho say hene ye de Ghana recording na ye problems with Ghana and pay me sorry pipe ma and now do nya pipe
me nyansu for the past 2 weeks
when nyansu for the past 2 weeks
me nya for 2 weeks in inflow
Kwame, now bisa me the question say me dwene say Ghana kodeng. Dano me wo internet so Maria live show lighted. O can say light asem group I say what's your complaint because light in the day as I say yet as I say doom sono dates with us. Inti Kwame na Mary bisa on say omang beng na mpanyimfuwom. Ye the number 1 country in gold revenues in Africa, number 6 in the world. You were oil, you were bauxite, you were cocoa, you were banchi, you were brew, or at least you were potential to say your base anime now. Now, 275 legislatures will drive around. Chrome, one them chrome, pay, show petrol free at our expense. What say parliament nkro no wabo nkro because obi okotena parliament say or a lawmaker or dwene oman ho no bisa ho say what has been the results. Forget about no wabetena TV so atoro na obedin. Cut all of that nonsense. Oman no kire say bibire koso ana. In your honest opinion, wouldn't say na mekane ye require?
Now talking about parliament, I'm up for blaming because it has become a party line. You need to serve the party instead of the nation. That has been the problem.
Well, regardless, listen, me Chika Medi Juma Pe having lived in the both sides of the Atlantic. I've lived in UK, I lived in the US. I've worked in both sides of the Atlantic. I've traveled around. Marco, baby, as so nipa ko wiase. No, if you send a nipa bonnet brother Marco. Meko manko se meko hepo. because say me ko say ebia me na man tie ade na si ya na eyinum wo bo won bra den na ma won bra che say obia live a life of excellence. Say any standard we ask you. Kwame, utu kwan ko bebia obia pre excellence for their people. You know, still in survival. We wallowing. And we're not even wallowing in misery. We wallowing in attempt to figure out how to get out of poverty. Hey, me boa catch them. Ukoko mufra merebe mufra anope tu say ya mereba hey. Wo bo me glass. Me da me smart to me windows mo be able say menya me ho air condition na me enjoy. There be mufra no eto be a wo ba wonnim ebia na wanya cold oba obekasa gusu ne ade wonnim no kura. Nti out of safety say me for yare bia nkofi nkomu bi no na menye carrier no ma to me glass m. Who is kebi a wato ama na eja wato glass muntem. What I say?
Yeah.
It's sad. It's sad to say mo fret to say me ma. Min to me no won inya contact na misro say wo be wo contagious of be what the best sang. Ehini omanga ye pese yetenem.
The impending for formulate policies and ideas. Implementation a problem, and I say after the formulation, you know, they lack the commitment to implement them.
Kwame, you don't make policy in isolation. Policy has to be a building block to something. As I say, we lay foundation. Now we build from step 1 to step 2 to step 3. You cannot from nowhere na come and say, Maria free SHS. Maria planting for food. Maria sasnuganeering no. As I say, we build an infrastructure that supports our mano. Na a progressive. Oh, good idea. Say what do you be? But one build foundation now. Won't mean kogwaso nkotonam nkotabe nkoto nchine ne makoni ade se woreba fie abeye mekwan na wadi woni cropot woni offending gas won jabru ni ho wanye nhihye se ese wunyaja na wode ye nkwan no ebeden na wokoto ne amapani na ye nkwan ne aben ne makoni ayi nama wode ba ye mekwan na ubedu fia watumi aye woni cropot woni jabru woni gas woni electric cooker intinache say we ya de na wanwene foundation ana wan hihye ne ama na ehu say step 1 na say wodwene say sa ne me na obehia na wodu be ye a successful mekwan so abrochiri what trail say bibia we ye no you actually do it in reverse to build a system until you create say okay the ideal situation is say meteha mri di mekwan what will be the absolute one thing as say minya na sa mekwan no be possible now I start calculating backwards na bribia in the steps as say wunya to make it happen no na what the afiaso is this the way a young penny for wording
it is a free SHS a good policy but it was in a rush.
Oh, aside from saying in a rush, it hasn't been effective. Well, and you test effectiveness by going to DBA missy results and then Mofrano what test one aptitude does it justify 1 billion cedis a year for a program? It does not. And it's so simple. Now plus free SHS wo pese we free SHS ma mofra adisuano foundation for mofra adisuana emma at the terminal stage eba at the foundational stage abruchiri mofra wosusa 3-4 no one ma access to computers no what one skill sets no money ade inti wo benyin no memeba we di 5 me kɔ ni school ne me hwɛ ne orientation ne computers a me hu ne even ne kra no computers a one way access to no me hu bi kra da. It blows my mind. 5 years old. But that time no na wo encrypt ne consciousness. So young 1 to 7 year olds na hen wo one nam kwa ho. Wo de obo na wo de your mouse. What FM wo film no wo teacher ni or throw the chalk throw blackboard so tutu. Inti, what are you telling the child? Sa child ya no ba be nyin na do na ko parliament so onko dwene adwene padega adwene na wo relay ama no. Kwame, na me ken wote ase. What questions no kra wo bisa no me pese me start answer because he mema wo ra ho. Me analysis na kirewa. Sa nkrofo yi ese ye yi won na afi ho. And yes, I'm not against NPP. NPP, a vessel. NDC, a vessel. That which is contained in the vessels, seriously inconsistent with where we want to go as a country. They don't know what they're doing. Wonim no worry yet. Obia to me argument. Because when fail, the patient is dead. Only even in critical care, the patient is dead. Ghana. Wo driver, so who send and for cat, who no afa na obia feel say oman ne yemede nra airport rest. Papa bi jina wo kwan ho oreto ebru in the middle of na me hwa na me say na me catch say masa na how we jina at T junction. The
laws are not working.
So, because that means it gives you an indication, say, morally, no, you degenerate. Now, Omenbia would degenerate morally, no. Rules and regulations don't work. Law and order doesn't work. Now, law and order and rules and regulations, and when we kept, what happens? They say, Obia open near me ye systems. Businesses set up because obio when si call person the bet shegane mu no who say bibi rekoso wo Ghana no so benya return be no or invest in sa environment who wan ka do sika be ba be shegane debi and yet an environment for investors to come into ye na ewie na the minister sign a MOU now work can say we need more FDIs no money are their names so them say we just say one year one research and I wouldn't see na ekoso Ghana wouldn't what ba war he na ekoso
so you pay the fund be na two kwankwabrichi they know what happens there on be do Ghana ha the conversation changes what really is the problem in here yentimi fix it because I believe that they know the problem but fixing it is also another problem Again, office hinder them from fixing the problems for us.
Kwame, what the mind cannot conceive, the eye will never see. Tina me can you? Adia adrenaline into me enchire ne enchiche no. And we are into me huda. Me ko Dubai, me ko Qatar, me ko Singapore, me hu ye ministers no ho.
O me hu how why developed.
Wo. But any adwene no mu nti won fa bibiara mafie. Me kwa me hu. Because e wo ma adwene me dwene ho say yaw. Places I ministers ne call no me to me nko. If you say sika what the kohono emu ye dru bakakre bia men won nam kroma min hunu wa bruchiri ba bia America UK Singapore Kato hifan ba bia no won fa hwe mafie because aye den na kwame wotumi ko hu niam a me mahu no na me ha me ne en ha wo
Officer how?
Nti then stop on say one year. Ye ni sika no. Me bisa o ye ni sika na.
Abansi oni sika all the time.
Okay. Nti Kwame ma me misa o. 80% of your exports your gold, cocoa and oil. Yeah, the value bia. Eno na nyansa na say eden. What the mo bruni won't add the value. Young gold, yeah, 2022, 2023 numbers in my 2022 yen revenues from gold, yeah, 6.8 billion. Yen revenues from oil, yeah, 5.2 billion. Yen revenues from cocoa, yeah, 2.7 billion. What can a Biesano Buma, yeah, 14.7 billion. Now, what are the value times 10? Which a standard wabrichi baby mekwa 10 and yet 20 30 edu abrichira bibi to say kuku kra wonya be 50 times the value with a yanya 10 14.7 times 10 AI 147 billion. Now Kwame mpacho hwemenim na kanchiro inti wujedi say you 147 billion dollars in a 12-month period. Yebeko IMF.
Akosere 3 billion.
Enyamina mekasa awona okay. But you see how ridiculous that is? Ukra 147 billion. Uko IMF kuji 3 billion. Then how? Catch them here. So we see ye nisika ntimiri bisao. Yemfa bro maye, yemfa banche maye, ye kramo 1.2 billion a year. Ye kramo. That means we have the capacity to buy 1.2 because ye right?
Yeah, sure.
Inti se sa mono nkwane work room ha 1.2 billion. Ye sikana ye de to commodities market wa bruchiri 1.2 billion. Ye keep ye add value to yenga ye mwa yenga ye di. Na sa sika no ye retain wa hakra mpo a eboa ma yensi di no nya hoden kakra e meboa aka kire me
no correct
nti eyi nye common sense Kwame o ka kire me se Kofi wasama okay yensen ni any merit Kwame yemfa sikri mai
yeah sugar cram mai
esam mai yemfa srade mai Kwame factories ben who say yes rade ye some ye sugar Commander Sugar Factory could see that you're spending $87 million. Still Indian food bin one could just assassin because in Sucre se would the ashro I contaminated with young irresponsibility from Galamsey tea baby yes would be ashro ni no are contaminating to me near ashro and you're fit for consumption. Internet say sa trade minister ya opeso ye president okono okokra sugar fi aburuchiri ba na wodi begu machine mu o Kwame yaw Kwame Nkrumah Commander Sugar Factory no o market nsase esese wodi dua hwero wa tonton ni nedi inti say parameters we use more the ashro ni na eco private citizens so what the CC dang as saying sasini na inti baby asasina kodu say insu na ewo hon because ashro ni hi ensu ni na so prad the contaminated water na begum inti would the ashro no ho krampo won't me use or Commander Sugar Factory inti esi kokra the bulk of the profits no nea anka ye dua ahwero na ye benya nti wo kokra lamp ne ba na de begu afrima you've killed the profit the whole incentive is lost and so you have spent $87 million Kwame nti we couldn't have sat down in a meeting NDC for NPP for the sake of Ghana say Ebia yen relocate Commander Sugar Factory. And Ebia yen who say projects for now no, it's not gonna benefit Ghana for. Inti my kuje loans, yasanko boka 87 million. Into 87 million, or could we not have pumped that into any other industries? Yeah, but my may any access now, boys and girls be near Juma Kakrana. Doesn't it blow your mind? I think na ye wo say if you say kuku. It's an embarrassment.
Huge sums of money at the crack cocoa beans. Yeah.
Kwame, cocoa no was young wheelhouse. And when I so said not young so yede boy and hon samaran kakra. A fedi crack cocoa. Oh, Kwame. And you have the nerve to ask me, say, Kofi, economy no dengana. These guys useless. And I'm being kind. Useless. All 275 of them.
I see. NPP and NDC, both of them were in opposition. Obia airborne to our Kaseme Ba may say, Jimmy Dimiba may say, but the moment they get the power, they tend to do the opposite. I'm linking that to your aspiration to become to lead this country. What makes you think, sir, talking about some of these things while not in power? What makes you think that you not do the opposite, just like what we experiencing with the NPP and NDC?
Because we are truthful. See, Obi or your truthphobia has a scheme. Obi or your truthphobia no. Or scheme no ne sena or run ne guru no dina de bi or the dada ni pano or run a scheme. One scheme ne say Ghana for the because of say you're loyal to young political parties, na ye pay and wasem, na ye du bu ni odo ye ni ameninti. Ye ni atrunchire won wobeje di no amaya ba power. Ye ba na me ya no say Kwame. So pese we discuss on. Take care of your people. Sikana beba 10 times more. Inti enono Mami Diao say, now they don't even want to take care of Ghana for. Uko Dubai, Sheikh Rashid Al Maktoum, he owns his own island right next to Palm Jumeirah. Wujina, a tallest building with Palm Jumeirah Island now shut down. Uhune Island. Obi anka se na na wo Sheikh Wa Island now what access to this much money. Adinti, he's taking care of his people. Bus stop okra what air condition buffer. What is sidewalk sudi dia air condition buffer. So these people no who say they've been onipa bia oyo nipa bone a onwe nipa ho no. Access to money no gives them more power to do evil. Access to money and resource no se sawo wadwene say ubeye from unipa boni to unipa pa. Well, it just exacerbates one kasa wo encryption. Inti young crofona yedwa ba eyinum no. One loyalty no and one scheme no to one political party. So
yeah.
Inti obi aba then may protect me political party. Now Miss Mebabi Dibi no Mako. So how can Bahumia present himself say or say or your president to view?
Because he thinks that he has a new vision and ideas to bring on board.
Inti say no deng na wore cheng Ghana for a bree. Inti say new vision and ka my and kakrampo say ya. Anka in 10 months no at least two between akasi say na mayu. And so what sign will lithium away? Say woba ope say tro ne cars and them groom na pesa an electric. You just signed away your lithium. Kwame, how you gonna do that? Internet saying yes, uncle talk lithium if you bruni ho. I know bruni no be electric boxes na my any the beshe yenke man I said ding. Does it make sense? Catch me Kwame. You just and yet 2 years ago, 1 year ago, just a couple of months ago, 2-3 months ago, what sign will lithium away? It's will be Gina Simpiuswa. We're a country Ghana for say, oh, me me background poa. One of men and so I didn't say may change public transportation na men electric. What did they be? No. What in one about electric? And how did they about be? Inti hefunet na se na dwene say yen give yen lithium away. Wouldn't say, and let me say, when adwene ni ho, we need a mental capacity. Because we want mental capacity our plan for the next send a my plan Ghana for the next 20, 30, 50 years. No, when in until you never give your lithium away. Kwame, a mistake, the young oil ama, the young gold ama, the young BB ama. Inti nansen kro nyankopon aboani enya lithium anka the attitude should be say till say yenga ye benya yen competencies are will to me from exploration to mining to adding value no and say ye de yen sakale in the lithium no many minister bire kanoka chimso kufi ye ni expertise ninti nurse say ye ton. Can you imagine? We need expertise. What could procure expertise no wa breach? Ghana for wa breach be brave. The experts are over to me exploration. No, wait to what I say. You have to put them together. You have to assemble sa competencies. No, inti NPP fu nan to me and who sa di NDC funso to us were the biggest opposition. Now more parliament here then. Doesn't it blow your mind? Who looks out for the Ghanaian? Nobody.
I see. Well, what's here live on us with us on Accra 100.5 Citizen Show Saturday edition now wasugusa with you know rock of Koranteng and a minute edim komo here him say with me about be digan in 2025 and beyond. You know also be to join the conversation via WhatsApp number Facebook Accra 100.5 nafi watch our junche CFGC catch the promotion is to *413# select Accra FM. Kofi Mamimra hope you Ghanaians are large number of Ghanaians, let me say, are so committed to NPP NDC. How do you intend to change the narrative to buy into your ideas? Say, look, let's do away with NPP NDC. Let's go for someone now who really think about the nation. How are you going to do that?
Kwame, and you be saying to them about now when you man pay because we say Ghana for we are over sympathetic. So, na mpempi no ye de adeche ye ehumobo ewe ye mu nti de bia no wo be di atrocheren a ye pese ye ma on chance. And to tell you the truth, there hasn't really been a viable option to NDC NPP.
Okay.
What you say? Because Ghana for ade ehu for adwene no so say we move from Bibia what find security with now. Adwene psychologically no near adwene find security with no it's not necessarily what is best for unipa no. Say bia ofa ebia obia and oberme bia or an abusive relationship. You would have thought standing from the outside say, oh, I don't know nya oberme no on frame. And so no a security or fine with sa abusive relationship ninti untumi film so eno bi sa na Ghana for yewe je obi aba na we show love for some time wa can be a chiro bia na no berma no na nipa ko na hu say oh yeah about 2020 were disqualifying for reasons only known to the easy. But ya kasa semia for a while. I've been consistent 10 bia makase bia bibia mekan. Inti say no me who say Ghana for are buying into na mekane who say nyansa wana kufikan. Mean to me nyo nyankopon menya magician. Ni ametumi ya say as a brother, as a son of Ghana, me to me I communicate ideas. No bianso o tie me nim say na kufikana ye no kware. Mary Niatro. Inti Edu Brea say because you were a viable option, Ghana for and nipa frame any organization say invite me in actually say the time is right say Ghana for seriously are considering say and you say you segregate permanently from NDC NPP. There be any NPP NDC for na yechi won. Nemom wopese wo hu say bibi foforo wo ho a ebeye amayen. Now the reason in tia no hia na Kwame ene say eno so bema NDC NPP fo so agina ye say oh say the yen to me take advantage of Ghana.
Sure.
As I say yen a so young stables no as I say ye to me sacre mu kakra na the new ideas about inti ema eye more competitive. So and sa process no bema MPP for in the next wave se Ghana for Shunyankopon anim na wo hwe won tebea na wo devote to KOfi Koranteng ene yen krofo ye de won reba ye ba standard a ye beja no will be hold NDC MPP to a whole different standard.
What is the standard that Ghana should anticipate?
Okay, this will be some question. Mpacho wo pen wo.
Yeah, more pen wa.
Wo paper so wo. Mpeso beauty bia so e take note. Na niama me ba be ken. Me ken we are me ma me big 3 niama. Well, let me give it to you now. Inti yem big 3 niama a KOfi Koranteng ba yere ba be ye any number 1 ye be change constitution.
Okay.
Inti enchro no de nu hoye edu a me kan chiro. Inti ye change constitution. Second of all, ye be eradicate corruption. Kwame obie ni ho no mo betumi a president wo Ghana. Say ameno ka say. Ontumi mayen a bold, specific, conclusive pathway to eradicating corruption. Obi opeso ye president na as say otumi ka kire Ghana for say in the last 32 years corruption bia akoso obi a cause financial loss to the state no as I say we pull ne up na sika bia wa fan ode Ghana for ade ma won.
There's a book by former finance minister of Nigeria, Ngozi Ogonjo-Iweala. Or say fighting corruption is dangerous. Has that been the case of Ghana?
I think it's dangerous. See, fighting fighting corruption is dangerous. No, now what misconstrue the purpose of living in non-corrupt society, living in a non-corrupt society. And let me tell you, Nancy, Unipa ye be we as say be den Kwame. Ope say will live now, to who say will ma will future, walk to school, they are doing well, munun so ukwe juma, unya income, utumi rent apartment, won't take you contain them. Me Uber driver my fano say last year or that contain them or university graduates ne yirenyam.
Wow.
So enye sa niama na ne pay for young society. What I say inti if went to me and saw bokitina corruption was na ema nsuna odugumni na enwini na insu bia wo sell gum na beden ebenyi inti when nyansu no so there will be hardships from all different angles. So inti does it make sense to say wo subject to sa painful experience of life na Kwame, does it make sense? Inti if you have to eradicate corruption send obi a hobeto no yen streets wonnam so a Kwame won't say kwa no kra nam so won't poto street lights here juma, traffic lights here juma, obia kona juma, obia hoton, obia te high rise mu apartments, yen saying sa say in fa containers in muha, there is orderliness. Kwame, eno no nyeofe. Inti aden eno no dangerous. Obia wo low level consciousness, so now we say corruption is dangerous. Aden ne that's what we live for as human beings. Say a fabulous and excellent experience of life. And only every human being near okum nipa krempo feel they say okum nipa na emana samani jebi. What did I make say? And unti no yen. Inti aden na yen corruption in fi honom na nipa obia ho ntɔ no wo wiase na obia ho ntɔ no wo Ghana nti kwame wo ba adwuma yi na nka woreba na bia wo kra wa brand na wo drive wo yere be use car no na advance wo frɛ taxi no where be siw wo ba 20-minute 30-minute drive where one be siw ana wo frɛ taxi wo fa subway ni be siw danga no wo adwuma wo timu na redo newspaper bro wo betia na say ting ting what do stop na wasi na wa ba adwuma wo wi a fa subway no kɔ inexpensive safe relaxing wo to make rada what you say that is how life should be. Adding the empire no needs fighting corruption is dangerous. Not to say you operating at a very low level of consciousness. Now, Nana American. Into the first thing you be change constitution.
Okay.
Second thing you be eradicate corruption. Third thing, they say you be set up Ghana. You be institute a national development plan for the next 20, 30, 50 years.
Wow.
Year no need for manifestos. We're going to end manifestos. Into Obia Oba after us, no. National Development Plan or not Tiaso. Now, let me tell you what's going to be contained in the National Development Plan. Kwame. Niama mereba bebubo sui. Ghana fo. Me pese Obia fa pen. No TSA asemi. Say NDC NPP in the last 32 years to me are perfect any of Saniama 10 year. Me KOfi Koranteng, Meron running for president bill, me support.
Okay.
Inti take note. Why ready?
My ready.
Housing. Healthcare. Employment. Education. Transportation. Telecommunication, security, recreation, markets, functional CBD. Kwame, I don't know, sir. Now, what cause Saniama 10 imwa? Among bia a develop, and I develop no. Saniama na warfare. Now, what did develop a nation?
Talking about recreation, you who said most of Yakwano, it was done because those days the population, but now the population keeps increasing, and we are still stuck with old
infrastructure.
Yeah.
Well, recreation. Let me tell you how important recreation is. Omen biano nipa bediya. Eye niama we ya when ni je wokɔ Singapore wokɔ Dubai nom ne ade a ɔmanga ma no kra ni je wo krom ho sing tourist ɛne ahoho eba ɔmanga income from tourism no ɛnyɛ from ahoho ɔmanga ma nankasa tua ɔmanga ma nankasa da ben na wo afa wo yire na wo mase mokɔ Elmina Castle ebia wakɔ sɛ wokɔ hwɛ keke. But a day trip and a weekend trip be you plan say when a mofrano kono monia kuji that ben a mako baby waterfalls be now the mofrana corner way that ben will take a trip to Ada no we say war a bullet trains be underwater Ada falls no and I say some water a be a rent na I mean, you're creating your mana gondolas nam Kwawu Mountains, you so name mouse sites now when you in some arrangement be one them rim by 2,000 feet and now on gondolas.
No recreational centers.
And one say yes, say assassin. Yes, say mangno because we don't understand the value it poses to us. Because we don't have leadership. Wawo saadwene no nti se wani gya uko Google uko Silicon Valley wobɛkɔ no ahyehyɛ boxer shorts wobo ping pong wobo basketball or play hoops denti because se adwene nani gya and they soaked with ideas now to me perform optimally So wonam kwan ho na hwe Ghana ni a wo hwe n'anim a awerɛho wo Ghana ni bia obekasi onti SUV ma one way exceptions na air condition buffer no ho no nam kwan ho a awerɛho ne amemmenemfe. They are going through pain and hardship. Mebo aka kyerɛ I think it's necessary sir. Ko Singapore na ko henkrofo a wonam ho. Woko say on cross bridge no ko Malaysia kra onko. Woko say me ko Singapore me say wo fees Malaysia ba be adwuma or Singapore because rates near higher. Singaporeans no woko say on cross nko Malaysia so ko eden. 25-30 minute drive across over. Okay then. No what ton was Singapore? Bibi or Pibia was Singapore. Uncle Malaysia, Uncle Trabe.
I see.
So, inti young as I say among the manany J near to me perform any recreation no. If we're Sadland Park, that when I call her and Nadia Abon Canary
Linear Rusty.
Inti wo impanyimfo a 275 yewo judiciary yewo executive yewo ministers of state at the presidency yewo advisors yewo Christian council yewo niama bebre den na woye for Ghana for wuna wo payroll so Ghana for ya yetua wonka den na woye ma Ghana under the leadership of NPP and NDC. Do you feel my pain?
I feel it, especially with the first Sutherland Park Akawasem. This is a recreational center you close to the ministry, and one would have thought that in Penifo they would have said be reason and then do something about it.
Inti mofra ye pese ye groom no the next wave of leaders for Ghana no.
They have
so
no center to play.
Access to Niamofra ye to be groomed. How do they become optimal adults of performance?
I agree.
Inti den no ne oko G20 no ne counterparts ko hia wo ha o na adwene ne betumi aye adwuma te se obroni na wa hia no fi Germany and from Sweden and from Spain. Yen the low level na. And this is because NPP and NDC just don't see it. You have to first conceive it in the mind. Ansana enuane ehu. Kwame. Yes, I yet to ho ye bidia gurisa. Inti sani ama 10 year mabubui. Mami ansa niye weni yetumia ni ye. Niye weni.
Housing, affordable housing.
Housing, Saglame, Saglame. Yeah, the 200 million. Yeah, budget for 200 million. Say you could see Saglame. What approval budget ma Saglame so on could see one refi say underground tunnels as I say we see for sewer for water ne power no one yes our budget no. Nkrofu pi nim. They only approve the budget for ground up building no into what see Saglame no who say I see infrastructure ni na wanga anye and until I white elephant I see what person what repurposing.
Interesting.
5,000 units no crowd workers who could see they ended up building 1,500 no crowd na pinya complete because my kwahwe Saglame na me personally makoto ho unit bia mako makohwe because me make a senti so na Kwame, I mean, Miss said, does it make sense in this day and age? We see 3-level buildings. Woko Singapore, Hawkes, what on Yama Okwanhui, what a 50-story apartment building, Simu. 50-story. Oh, yes. 50-story. Because among them, pese ubia onam kwanhono order bonting. What we are. Now what the best chance to produce into will make sure say obia way a here say then what medical where do you would baby I say would uti today the government make sure say obia na bunting zero no da bunting at the end of the day obianya baby dinitito ada ni ntumi nyɛ sawa ha ada ni ntumi nyɛ sawa ha Kwame inti niema 10 year meboboi health housing healthcare employment education transportation telecommunication security recreation markets and functional CBD central business district yenibi in 32 years NPP ni NDC for one actual menu so 32 years want to mean one of Sanyama 10 year indicator say among the rekosono one want to mean ye one Kwame in 32 years ade ba ko se pe want to mean ye why on earth should Ghana afford them another opportunity to lead the country? I think necessary Ghana for ye the maon. They don't have a clue what they're doing. I can't say it's obvious. Come in, maybe so.
It's obvious because if I look at the list of Nyama Wabubosua, yes, indeed, we fall short.
Very good. I made this why you're honest. I made the pass why you're honest. Inti Kwame, Ubia only sajuni or the better to sa near me. One funny ma mekesi obeye 24-hour economy. 24-hour economy. We didn't 20 obeye 24-hour economy. Niama 3 are most important in a 24-hour economy. Me, I've lived in a 24-hour economy for more than 37 years in New York. I actually operated as a supervisor, upper management. Please, sir, in a 24-hour economy, a Juma 24 hours, a UPS. Well, Ubia Uti Opiso, Metro North, 43rd and 12th, New York City, West Side. Na America say, Enumpono, if you don't have connectivity, complexity, any connectivity, complexity, any competency, Kwame, there is no way you can even begin to think, say, Wubetumi aye a 24-hour economy.
I see.
We need complexity. We need competency. We need connectivity. How do you even begin a 24-hour economy? America na akra ampono. Only New York City kra ni betumi a boost. Say wo sani amatri New York City pe on 24 hour. Obeye 24-hour economy. Obe that the nipa keke.
I see. But yemrende ko bibo hobe touch on quickly na fe yedin komana ba ne ya.
Yo. Kwame na meka say yehia say diaspora fo beboa yen campaign ye emu ayedin yehia sika yehia resources inti diaspora fo a won so wo pese daachi bia wo be fie na wo be home wo betna omanga yi systems ye adwuma wom no wo moye this is their chance so wo beboa yen because baby edu no so omang ni failure wa wotia brichi bia untumi magana impossible even for one cry one two kwanda no cry na ding ma won say Ghana sitna ye ding Ghana sitna is a hardship Ghana did what say uko war with Iraq every day wo so ya no pa you have to fight insu ni ho ese okubunsu when dum electricity bibia entontomo we ka ho na once na wo che wa aduan na me ko Dubai me ko friending me kra climate ni hot to cross in Ghana once na ni ho awia anojo fedua entuntum ni ho dem say baby a climate here hot say Ghana e na entuntum ni ha anojo fa woni me waka kire it's a function of filth na me raho kwame oti ase
yeah
just say nye fia ye ya anka ye nyantontom any once na a function of filth.
Okay.
Inti NDC NPP, mama yen retire won. Ni share another option. Ni be who say Ghana food deserve better.